Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Sunday, February 28th, 2016. This is episode 256. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week, and if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show, and you'll come back in the future. So, as you can see, Callie is not with me this week. She had some added work to her leadership class, so she needed to work on that. She is getting very close to her final presentation and then her graduation from the leadership training. So I'm sure she will be looking forward to when that is over. So she sends you all her regards and is sad that she couldn't be here today. But I have a lot to show and a lot to talk about. And so let's just jump right into a week in review. As I mentioned last week, sadly, Andy, my partner, my leading man, his stepdad had passed away last week. So Callie and I recorded last Saturday night, and on Sunday I drove up to northern Indiana and got there in the evening time, had dinner, and went to bed fairly early on Sunday. And then Monday was the viewing, and went pretty well, I think. It says something about a person when people are willing to wait in line almost an hour, to give their condolences, and when you go almost an hour over the allotted time. So there was a lot of people with whom he touched their lives, and so that was good to see that and to partake and to remember and cherish him and all that stuff. So that was that. And then on Tuesday was the funeral and procession and services and things like that. Tuesday was a bit rough. But we got through it, and moving to better places on all aspects. So that was that. And then Tuesday night we drove back and got home. We stopped in Bloomington and bought new pillows because we accidentally left our pillows at the hotel, and they were not cheap memory foam pillows, and the hotel claimed they couldn't find them. So we did not get our same pillows because they're quite expensive if you don't catch them on sale. So but we had to stop and get some pillows, and then we stopped and had dinner at Red Robin, so that was exciting. And then came home and got to see our dogs, and that was good. So Wednesday I was ready to go back to work. I had woke up and I looked quickly out the window. I knew we were supposed to get some snow on Wednesday, and I looked quickly out the window. I was half asleep. It looked like it had rained on the street, when I looked out on the street. So I got in the shower and I got completely dressed, and then I realized that I had a voicemail, and it was my school district telling me that school had been canceled for the day due to inclement weather. So we did get quite a bit of snow. I Instagrammed a picture. It was very sticky snow, so it was just piling up on top of each other. But it had quit about midday. It was, off and on from there on out, and then it was starting to melt by the end of the day. So but didn't have to work that day, so that was good. Did go back to work on Thursday and got to see my kids and kind of get things back in order somewhat. And then unfortunately I did have to take Friday off, but it was fortunate for me because I attended the Knitting Pipeline Retreat in Washington, Illinois, and got to see a bunch of wonderful friends that I don't get to see any other time, or only get to see a couple times a year at different events and shows and things like that. So I'll talk a little bit more later about that in the spotlight section. So overall, it was a tough week, but it was an uphill climb, but it got really, really good towards the end of the week. So yeah, I think that's pretty much about it this week. So let's get to the knitting. What's taking a bow? Well, if you don't notice, I'm wearing something I've been working on for, 7 months. 7 months I've been working on this. So, I'll stand up here in just a second and show this to you, but this is Portage by Melissa Shrewsbury, knit out of Elspeth Levold Silky Wool in color number 65, which is spruce, and it is knit on sizes 5, 6, and 7 US, which is 4.5, 4, and 3.75. That's going backwards, so anyway, that's the last time I have to say that, so that's exciting. So I wore this to the Knitting Pipeline retreat, and I Instagrammed it before I left on Friday, and I'm really, really happy with it. I got a lot of compliments on it at the retreat, but I think it's just going to be a great sweater for around the house. So I'm really excited. I was a little bit worried when I had originally put this on after getting showered and dressed and everything today. It was a bit warm. It's about 66 degrees here today, so it's warm for right now. And I actually had to take it off. I was like, I can't do this. That's so hot. So we went grocery shopping, and I just wore the undershirt. But don't mind the motorcycles, and the windows are closed. I even closed them. But I will show you. I'll stand up and show you here. So here's the full length of the sweater. And you can see it does come down to a decent length. It blocked out the length pretty nicely. It's got the garter collar, which is kind of finicky up around the neck. It wants to kind of roll up. And again, I could tack that down, and then it goes seamlessly into the pockets, which a lot of people are like, oh, that's how that worked. They couldn't envision it or see it at the Pipeline retreat. So you can see the garter, and then it just goes back and is tacked down. And I was just kind of walking around the retreat with my hands in my pocket. The sleeves are a little bit fitted, but they did block out to a decent length. And again, because of my bind-off choice, and I'm too lazy to rip it out, which is, just my own part, it is a little bit tight on the bind-off, so I can only roll it up to about 3/4 length. But I don't mind that. I like it. So I'm happy with it. It was a labor of love. There are a few mistakes in the back, in the textured stitches in the back, but it's for me. It's around the house. So I enjoyed it. I highly recommend the pattern. Again, your mileage may differ. This calls for a DK weight, and according to Ravelry, Elspeth Levold is a DK weight. I would say it's a fingering to sport. So, you might have a little more bulk. I have never had a sweater this thin, which is what I need. So, unfortunately, they don't make a whole lot of guy sweaters in thinner weights. There are some. But I think for a sweater to be really wearable for me and to be comfortable, I need thinner because I am hot to begin with. I run very warm. So you put worsted weight, bulky weight, Aran weight on me, and it just traps in all that heat, and I'm 10 times more warm than I would have been. So that's off the needles. Cheers to that. Will I be starting a sweater anytime soon? I don't know. I think I'll take a little bit of a break, but, I use the random number generator on my stash, so if it pulls a sweater, it's a lot of yarn. I may be starting one quicker than I would hope, but we'll see. Alright, so let's go into what's performing this week. So the first thing is Midnight Ocean by Louise Zass Bingham out of Twisted Fiber Art Ariel Large Evolution in the Gypsy colorway on size 6 US 4mm, and I'm really enjoying this knit. I tried to work on it a little bit at Pipeline, but I kept getting off by just a stitch or two, so I was like, I just can't. I brought three things to work on Friday, and they all had patterning, and I was like, I could do this, and then I was like, no, I can't. So I ended up bringing my boomerang on Saturday. So from the Dicky Doo down is where I have done. You can see I am firmly transitioning into a new color. Here is where it's at. You've got the cowl piece, and then it increases. I can think of words. And I heard some people say that they couldn't see the transitions on the podcast last week, and that they got to see it in person at Pipeline, and they thought it was much clearer. So hopefully my lighting is a little bit better today. I got a new tool, a new toy. So I'll talk about that in my stash enhancement of all the things I have to show you. So you can see the wave patterns in there. And there's that. So this is truer to color back here. So you can see it goes from kind of the brick red into the coppery rusty red into this like brownish purple. So that's coming right along. And then next up are my London Mitts by Thea Coleman. I'm using another Crafty Girl merino worsted in the glowing red eyes colorway on size 6 US 4mm. Here it is. And I did finish the first mitt before I went to Pipeline. So I'll put it on this hand. I did make the thumb a little bit longer than suggested. It is a decent sized mitt. It will go up into your coat so that no cold air or snow gets up in there, but you can see the lacy twisted, cabled pattern on the side of the hand. You have the thumb, no ribbing or anything like that. I actually like that thumb a lot. It's comfy, it doesn't go anywhere. You can see the variegation, how it played out. And I did get the second one cast on, and I got some good progress on it. In fact, I'm telling myself, you know, there's other things I need to probably give a little bit more love to, and I can get through these relatively quickly. So I'm actually pacing myself out because I do have until the end of March to finish these. I'm doing these as a knit-along for a Thea Coleman knit-along for the Super Summer Knit Together, that's going to be held in Nashville in July. So I did, and I'm magic looping. I'm not having an issue with magic looping either. Here's where I am on the second cuff. Second mitt. I've got through the cuff, and I've got 2 repeats of the body done so far, or the hand of the mitt. So those are going well, enjoying that. Next up is my Periwinkle Boomerang. I told you I cast this on and I wasn't going to knit on it all that much because it was mostly for knit night at my local yarn store. But again, I needed something mindless that I could work on while talking to people on Saturday. So I got a decent amount of this done, and this is out of Barocco Boboli lace in the Periwinkle colorway, which is number 4393 on size 6 US 4mm. So there's that. Gotta love the boomerang. And next is a new cast on. My last 2 things I've cast on since I've seen you. I did need a new mindless stripy sock, and so I randomly went through my stash and I picked out some online Super Sock 6 Fach, F-A-C-H, Murano color in number 1506, and I'm calling the colorway Reckless Love. I needed something other than 1506. So they're my Reckless Love socks. And this is a sport weight, so I'm knitting it on size 2 US, which is 2.75mm. As I had picked up some new 2s at my local yarn store a little while ago, and I haven't used them. These are on some Addy lace. Excuse me. And I'm using 64 stitches. So they're not self-striping, though. They're a weird kind of striping. They're not even like Regia striping. So you can see some of the randomness going on there, and then you turn it over, you've got some difference over there. I don't know. It is what it is. I thought it's slightly purple, pinkish, mauve, brown, but I think it can be masculine enough. They'll be for me or Andy, I think. So, I don't know, though Andy's kind of getting a little finicky. He doesn't like the sport weight socks, he says. But I knit him a pair out of our yarn, and he likes those, so I don't know. Oh, don't want to get yarn stuck in the zipper. Alright, what else? Is one more thing? Yeah, I think there's one more thing. Then I cast on for Banner Day by Megan Williams using Leading Man Fiber Arts Showstopper in the Metamorphosis colorway on size 5 US 3.75 millimeter. I'm doing this as a shop sample because I plan on carrying the pattern in the booth during show season once I get this completed. So I finished the first two sections. I finished the first lace section and then the first garter section, and then it adds in another lace section, another garter, and it goes on and does that. So this has I was telling Megan, I got to see her at the pipeline retreat. I actually sat with her for a good majority of it, and I told her, I said, "Boy, you sure like your the skip stitch, the SKYP." And she's like, "I sure do." Which is fun, though. It plays with the variegation very well for highly variegated yarns, which is why I chose the Metamorphosis colorway for this. So that's going, and I can't wait to show you more progress when we get there next week. So that's all I think that I'm currently knitting this week, but I think I made a significant amount of progress. I can't complain. So moving right along in the rehearsal, I don't really have anything immediately on the needles, or immediately, on the forefront of my mind to be on the needles. So we'll just leave it at that. So moving into behind the scenes, my spinning, I did finish some spinning this morning and got it measured off and onto the Nitty Knotty. I finished my next commission spin, which is Diabolical's 85% Polworth wool, 15% Tussa silk in the Caucus Race colorway, and I did it as a 2-ply fractal spun, and I got 244 yards of a DK weight, I'd say. So it has the greens, the blacks, and the purples. So I'm excited for this. I will need to wash and thwack it and then have it dry and get it out to its recipient. So I have already selected the next fiber from my stash that I'm going to be spinning up, and it's one of my Three Waters Farm top of the month club shipments, which is great because I'm going to be getting another one here in a couple of days. And this is 100% BFL in the June's Glow colorway. So I'll be spinning this up probably a little bit thicker because I'd like to get another skein, if not two, spun up before YarnCon the first weekend in April. So gotta love how those colors are reading today. I might have spent a little bit of money on my new toy, but it's really helpful. In fact, never mind. I'll tell you in a minute. So that's what is behind the scenes. In the scene shop, what am I cross-stitching? I know. I started cross-stitching last week after we recorded, and I've been working a good deal on it, though I had to tell myself, I need to slow down, and I've been trying not to be enabled. I did get one new thing. I'm waiting for another thing to help with cross-stitching, and I guess this other thing I'm talking about is a third thing, but I was going to buy a kit yesterday / this morning because I had a 50% off Joann's coupon that I couldn't use yesterday in the store, so I was going to buy it online. But I wasn't totally blown away by the kit, and I'm like, if I'm going to invest that much time, I might as well get things that I really want to do or I'm really interested in. So I'm currently cross-stitching a... do I get rid of the thing? The Artiste Mini Counted Cross-Stitch Owl, which looks like this. And it will be framed in a 5x7 frame. And I think I'm getting the hang of it. So that's what I've gotten done so far, the main body of the owl. And I'm kind of doing it in color chunks. This is on 14 count Aida fabric. So there's that. Tempted to invest in a Q-snap. I think if I was really to go to town with this, I might enjoy a floor stand and a scroll frame. I don't know though. gotta kind of test them out and see, but this is cheap, so this came with the package. I will need to eventually get a new hoop if I'm going to do that. So sorry, gotta get one of my new things out to show you. Okay, so that's that in terms of cross stitch, and I didn't start anything new. I need to do one project at a time, and Andy's been supportive. He's been a little judgmental, but a little bit supportive, or been supportive. He's like, I don't mind you getting a new craft. He's like, I just don't want you stashing said new craft. Work on one thing at a time. He actually was interested and was like asking me things about the cross stitch and things like that. So, and I was showing him some interesting patterns and things. All right, so in the spotlight, what am I watching and reading? I have not finished reading anything, so nothing to tell you in those regards. I did catch up on Teachers this week, and that's about it. That's all the TV I've had time to watch. We've been gone. I've been gone at the retreat, so not a whole lot of TV time. All right, so let's talk stash enhancement and the Knitting Pipeline retreat. So one thing I did get for cross stitching, because I really needed a needle threader, because trying to thread a needle for cross stitching by itself is rather challenging and not at all fun, and completely took all the pleasure out of it for me. So I had found one of the cheap, like a penny or less, little metal tab needle threaders, and that broke after like 2 or 3 times of threading the needle. So I had actually heard about this from somebody's podcast, but I went on to Amazon. All fancy. I went on to Amazon, and we have invested in Amazon Prime. We did that about a month or 2 ago. So I was like, well, I got free shipping, so let's see what I can get. So this was definitely not the cheapest by far. In fact, it was probably one of the more expensive ones. But this is called the Needle Beetle. And what it is it looks like this. And it's got a little hole you can put on a lanyard. And it is a needle threader. So you press up the red button. And you can see there, it's really thin. You can see there the needle threader. But that's what's really cool, is it comes with a light, an LED light on there when you push it all the way up. And there we go. So, and then it retracts in. So, this is coming a lot and coming handy. And then I did get a needle minder from an Etsy store, which I'll tell you about next week when it gets here. I'm still waiting on it to show up at my door. All right, so Friday and Saturday was the Knitting Pipeline Spring Retreat in Washington, Illinois, which is about a hop, skip, and a jump away from my house, about an hour and 15 minutes away. So I don't stay at the church where it's held at. That is available to retreat attendees. They can stay for free and sleep on the church floor and whatnot. Didn't do that. Never have gotten a hotel. I always just travel back for the night. And everyone's like, oh, that's so far, an hour and 15 minutes. I'm like, well, it's central Illinois in a small town. In central Illinois, if you want to go anywhere, you're pretty much looking at about a half an hour. So that I drove out there and got there right at opening at about 2 o'clock. I'm sorry, the sun is all of a sudden coming out of the clouds. It's been cloudy all day. And it looked like it was going to rain, actually, when we took the dogs for a walk. Got there right for the opening at 2 o'clock. I did my normal start and got lunch at Hardee's right outside of Washington, which I've done every year. And went and checked in and got to see Bronwyn and Sarah, and then Paula. You have to check in with all of them. And Paula gives you your retreat bag, which is minimalist but really good. So I actually brought last year's retreat bag as my, hold all my projects, but this was the new one. Looks exactly the same except the colors changed. So this year it's navy blue. Last year was black maybe, or red, or green. I don't know. I think I gave one of them away. So this was the bag, and inside were some FO wrappers that Amber Yarn Hoarder provided us with. So I was really excited to get some of these because I used all of them up at the holidays this year. Andy and I did. I got my annual button. And then the yarn in the goodie bags is always some Quince & Company, and at least since I've been going the past 3 years now, it's always been Quince & Company Finch, which is 50 grams of 100% American wool, fingering weight. And I had gotten a light blue and then a dark blue, robin's egg blue, and then slate. I don't remember which year. And then this year I actually got this lovely color, which is Fox. It's color number 170. And so you got 2 skeins of this. So I had actually planned on using my other 2 colors in a foolproof cowl. But I was a little bit disappointed that they were both blue. But I actually took the robin's egg blue and this, and I'm going to make the foolproof cowl out of that. And I chose a different design for the slate that I have. So this was the yarn in the goodie bag. And that's all that was immediately in it. And then I got some gifts. Somebody was coming around passing around stitch markers. And I got a cute one that I need to add. I think it's a shrinky dink, if that's what you call it. But this says O Schnit. SKNIT. So I thought that was cute. So I have to add that to my stitch markers. Amber's daughter was there, Heidi, and she is so adorable and wonderful. We got to hang out. We're now like best buds. And she loves to make pot holders, so she actually made me a pot holder, which I was amazed. And it's awesome and my favorite colors. So this is the pot holder that I got. It's got a lovely turquoise, gray, white, and black. Kind of reminiscent of How You Doing without the white. So this is going to be great for like putting hot plates down on our table, which is funny. I told them, I said, my mom, when she was over for dinner last time, was like, you need hot pads. You need to have something you can put down on the table. So there we go. That's done. And cute little tags that Amber has done up for things. And so thank you so much, Heidi. I surely do appreciate it. She's making one for Andy. I'm so excited. So Amber gave me a gift, which she didn't really need to do at all. She gave me this cute repurposed pen. So it's an old knitting needle, a straight, and she made it into a pen. So that's going to live on my desk or go down in the studio. I haven't decided. And then she was super sweet, and she got me some things from Acreworks, which I've never got anything from. I've gone to their shop a couple times, and I always go away, come back, and close the tab and go, no, I don't need it. So she got me a orifice threader from Acreworks, and it's a little hedgehog. So Acreworks does all 3D printing. And they do things for drop spindles, bobbins, things for spinning and stuff like that. So this is a little hedgehog. And yes, if you're wondering, the wheels do work. They can actually roll. So this is to bring the fiber through your orifice to spin. Okay, so that was awesome enough. Oh, and it's in my favorite color. I mean, come on. It's not like Amber knows me or anything. So then she also not only got me the orifice threader, she got me 3 bobbins. Not 1, but 3. One is currently on my wheel to start spinning this afternoon. And so it's white, and I don't know the design. It's kind of like the spokes of a wheel. And they come in these little organza travel packs because you can break them down. And you're like, well, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Well, let me show you. So here are the other 2. She got me a gray and then a black. They're all in the same design. You can choose your design. And then they've got the snap-on bobbin part right here. And you snap on the end of the bobbin. And these can break down so you can travel with them, and they flat pack. So thank you so much, Amber. You have a generous face. Let me just tell you that. So, utterly surprised by that. Extremely grateful and thankful. So, thank you. You're going to get a lot of work because I use my spinning wheel every single day. Okay. She also had a card, one of her own cards she had printed up. And not only is it one of her own cards, it also features my yarn in there. So, super cute. All right, so the market. I was pretty good during the market. Let's finish out Friday. Friday I hung out with a bunch of different people, said hi, got to catch up with people. I always get really tired on Friday early, and we had dinner, which was a little light. It was some salad and some soup. I had a little bit of soup, and then they always have some really good, some kind of cake that they make. And I coerced one of the ladies to give me another slice because I was super hungry. And but the 2 pieces of cake and the soup held me over. I was planning on stopping to get something on the way home, but I went back and they were going to do door prizes, and I was going to announce my door prizes or whatnot. And they had to push it back to a little bit later in the evening, and I was like, well, I kind of want to already get on the road by then to get back home so that I could crash because I'm tired. So I ended up leaving about 8 o'clock at night on Friday, drove home, came home, slept. I knew they were just doing a light breakfast, nothing too fancy on Saturday morning, so I didn't set my alarm to get out there at the butt crack of dawn. I just woke up when I regularly wake, or when my body told me to wake up, and took a shower, packed up the car because I had everything ready to go, but I hadn't had the car packed. And then had some breakfast and then drove out there. And I got there about 9:30-ish, I want to say, and spent the morning hanging out. I hung out and talked with Gene and David of Two Guys Yarn Company, and Sarah of Yarn Geek Fibers, and we sat and chatted for a while, amongst other people at our table, Amber, Megan, Corey, iRock Nix, and all those people. Then we had lunch, which was awesome, the same lunch as last year. It's some Italian beef, broccoli salad, which was amazing, some pie, some chips. Got to have lunch with Amy Beth, Fat Squirrel. It's good to catch up with her since we haven't really seen each other since SSK last year. And then the lunch slowly finished up, and then we started unloading for the market. And I Instagrammed a picture of my little setup for the market. The market was good this year. So thank you to everyone who came out and checked out the yarn. If you made a purchase, thank you so much. We pretty much just took everything we already had in the shop and brought what we could. Didn't leave much at home, but a little bit, but not much. So the market was a lot of fun. It was from 2 to 4. This was the first year that they've ever opened the market up to the public. So there was a decent amount of people who came in to shop, off the street, not at the retreat. So that was a lot of fun. Was able to handle it by myself. I love the low-keyness of this retreat. It's very low-key, very laid-back. And so, and I had done this now twice. This was my 3rd time. So I felt fairly confident in what I was doing and what to expect. So didn't have any help on hand this year and did it by myself, but that's fine. And it was a good time. So 4 o'clock rolled around. I finished chitting and chatting up with a few people. Had made 2 purchases and a trade, and packed up and headed home, and met Andy in Bloomington. We met and had dinner at an Indian restaurant, and then we went over to Joann's, and because I wanted to look at what they had to offer cross-stitch wise. And while they didn't have much in store, I didn't get anything cross-stitch wise, but I did get an Ott-Lite. I did. So if you don't know, an Ott-Lite is a fancy light that's decently expensive. Luckily, they had all their things off about 50%, if not more. So I got the pretty decent one. If I do something, I learn to, not get something that will just suffice if I'm going to make that big of an investment. So I got the 3-in-1 lamp. Basically, it can be a clip-on lamp, it can be a desk lamp, or it could be a floor lamp. I have it set up as a floor lamp over here right now. It's fully adjustable. It's got a big long light. It's a day glow light, so it's got very clear lighting. In fact, I had it on me, directly on me when I first wanted to record, but it was a little too bright. The camera didn't know what to do, so I actually have it faced and bouncing off the wall. But it is very clear light, so it's been really good for crafting since last night when I tried it. It also has a bendable arm with a clip on it, so you can clip a pattern to it. And it's got a bendable arm with a decent sized magnifying glass. So I wanted that if I was like, if I'm going to get into cross stitching, I don't want to go for years ruining my eyes. I'd rather just start off smart now. So I did use the magnifying glass for a little bit last night when I was cross stitching, but it actually was hurting my eyes getting used to it, and we'll see how it works. I think if I get like a scroll frame and a floor stand, I think that would be better for the magnifying glass. But stitching in hand, I'm not sure if I need it yet. But at least I have it, and that's what I wanted. So that's that. The market. I did make a purchase from Fat Squirrel Fibers. I did get a bag from her. She was very busy when the market opened, but she still had some of her Knitting Pipeline bags, the ones that she'd done up with the little tag, Knitting Pipeline Retreat 2016, Fat Squirrel Fibers. And this was the fabric. And I didn't pre-order it because I wanted to look at it in person. But I thought it was decent enough. I liked it. Wasn't too gender specific. I liked that I had a decent size of this on the back. So, yeah. So that's that. And it just has, I think, yep, just the straight up muslin on the inside. She had a lot of cute designs, but this was the one that I wanted, so I got that. Because you know I need another project bag, right? Right. And then I kind of went crazy because my girl Sarah of Yarn Geek Fibers was right next to me, as she was last year, so I have fiber in my mouth. And I love her spinning fiber. I especially love her BFL Sparkle, because I'm not a sparkle person, but she has Firestar blended into her BFL, and it drafts like no other. It's not scratchy. It just gives it a hint of a sparkle in your finished spinning. So I got 5 braids of fiber from her. I got one straight up BFL, and this is in the colorway Sugar Maple. And then these 2 BFL sparkles were actually discounted because they were gently loved. You can see that. She does a lot of outdoor shows and things like that, which is what she was telling me about. So they get, you know, and I understand when you package things up and bring them out for shows, if they don't sell within a couple of shows, they can get a little gently loved. So there's, you know, some little bits of fiber on them and things. But this is in the colorway. This was an odd batch, and oops, it says, but it's in the colorway Slice of Lemon Wrapped Around a Large Gold Brick. I don't know. I spin to sell, you know, in the shop and at shows and things, but I like to spin colorways that aren't mine because I know my colorways. So I got something that was a little bit different and outside my color palette because, you know, I don't want to be spinning all blues and greens fiber. And then this one was discounted. This one is Might I Have Some More? Like s'mores. So it's different browns and creams. This one, these are all on the BFL Sparkle, which is 70% BFL, Blue-Faced Leicester, and 30% Firestar. And this one is in Big Yellow Taxi. Excuse me, my nose. And last but not least, this one did not have a colorway, and I meant to ask her because I thought I had found the same colorway on a different base, but I just named this one Autumn Harvest. I didn't really think about it, but it's got some purples, some dark olive browns, yellows, oranges. So I only had 2 braids of her fiber left, and I didn't have any more of the BFL Sparkle, so Andy rolled his eyes at me, but it's not like I couldn't pick up more at YarnCon, because I'll see her there and whatnot. So, but anyway, so that's that. That's all my stash enhancement this week. It's a lot. So let's move into a round of applause. We do have our red-pink knit-along going on through tomorrow. The thread will be closed on Tuesday morning, which is March 1st. Callie will be closing up that thread, and then we will pull for, right now it looks about 2 winners. We may bump up to 3 winners. So we'll pull for those next week when we record, or I will. I'm not sure if Callie will be here next week either. So that means anything that you've cast on with red or pink yarn that you finished in the months of February and March, you can post a picture of it into the thread. You must be a member of the group. If you use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts, you can get 2 entries and just post your FO picture twice to get 2 entries into the drawing. We do want to encourage you to enter all your finished objects for the month of February into the February 2016 Race to the Finished Object contest. We have 2 wonderful prizes. The first are 2 skeins of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in the grass colorway, and then we have a pattern from our featured designer, who is Megan Sanders. We will be opening up the March thread on March 1st, which will have a Yarny prize, and then again another pattern from Megan as well, and that'll be her last month. So March will be her last month, so we'll be looking for a new featured designer in April. If you are a designer or know of a designer who would be willing to donate 1 pattern a month, from anywhere from 1 to 6 months, and be our featured designer, where we mention them every week, please have them or yourself email me at Dramatic Knits on Ravelry. Alright, I think that's it for our regularly scheduled show. I am going to go into center stage and quickly talk about Leading Men Fiber Arts. If you leave me now, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next week. But here we go, center stage. Our Totally Tubular Knit Along is going on for 1 more day as well. You must post finished objects of your tubular cowls by the end of February 29th, Monday. And then on March 1st, I will close it. I will pull for a winner probably on March 1st and just let that person know. Right now we only have 2 people that have entered, or 2 finished cowls. So one of those 2 people currently will be winning a $20 gift certificate to Leading Men Fiber Arts. Yeah, your cowl must have been started on or after January 1st, 2016 and completed by February 29th, 2016. It must use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts in order to qualify, and you must be a member of the group in order to qualify. So there's that. Alright, March is coming up, and I did not know if I was going to get a March colorway of the month done up due to being gone so much this week. That being said, I did get it nailed down, and I got it dyed up on every base. So it's all ready to go. It's all been reskeined, ready to have pictures taken, and ready for its big debut. So I brought up a skein of it on DK to show you. I'm really excited about this colorway. Not my colors, but I'm excited for the look and the feel of it. So I tried a different dye technique than I've done before, and I enjoy it. So again, this is on our DK or Dramaturg base, which is 100% superwash merino, 250 yards to 115 grams. And the colorway this month for March is going to be Neon Pencil. Yeah, that's the colorway name. So here it is. It is got speckles and longer stripes or segments of black, neon yellow, and fuchsia, neon fuchsia. And then it's got some undyed areas in there as well. So this is Neon Pencil. Because before we rescan it, it actually looked like the eraser and the black of the, what do you call it? The lead, and then the yellow of the pencil, but neon color, neon fuchsia, neon yellow. So this is Neon Pencil. It will be available March 1st. Probably in the evening when I get home from work. I will upload pictures and announce it on Instagram and Facebook and Ravelry, and then it'll be up through March 8th. Pre-orders, they will ship out by the end of March, usually within a couple days, and that's that. Okie dokie. What's been updated to the shop? Well, today I've started updating some things from the show that I had dyed up right before the show. We have a skein of Pipeline on Showstopper. which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, fingering weight, 463 yards. I will have some of that going up in Show Stealer too in a couple of days, if not today. We also have a skein of Radiant on Showstopper. Yellows, oranges, and reds. And then last but not least, I did upload a new gradient. This is the Rusted Gradient. Sorry, I can't see. There we go. So it goes from light to dark. So it's very deep maroon color. So that's been what's been updated to the shop. Not a whole lot. We've been prepping for the retreat and being gone and things, and I don't need to make excuses, right? So if you would like to check out the shop, you can find the shop at leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com. You can also follow me as Leading Men Fiber Arts on Instagram, on Ravelry, and Facebook as Leading Men Fiber Arts. You can find our groups there. If you'd like to support the show, come join our Ravelry group on Ravelry. And if you're watching on iTunes, we'd love a written review or a star rating. If you're watching on YouTube, click subscribe and give us the thumbs up this week. I'd surely appreciate it. And if you are looking for show notes or the show as well, you can always find us on our website, which is dramaticknits.com. So, until next week, I hope you knit something dramatic.